Welcome to round 3 of the LA Boys April League. My name is Fabio. Once again, I'll be your host today. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the love that we've been receiving ever since the channel started. We had no idea if this was going to pick up, but I mean, I guess people just want to see more games of PreModern, and we're very glad to be showing the Alentejo side of how we play this amazing format. We do have a date for our 5th journey. It's going to be on May 23rd. So yeah, just come play with us. If you happen to be a local, or maybe if you're here in Portugal on vacation and your deck, play a few games of Magic. Even if you don't have your deck, just send us a message. We'll get a deck for you. You know, just come play with us and have a drink with us, grab some food. You know, it's always cool to have new people to check out Alentejo, and we're always trying to grow the community. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there. Now, on to round 3. Now, Thiago likes to play survival decks, and he's playing one of the best ones in Elves. Yeah, your typical elf list, nothing really fancy here apart from 2 copies of Natural Order and 1 copy of Phantom Nishoba. I guess it's really nice to have access to a giant 7/7 lifelink almost. Yeah, against matchups like Sly, you swing once with Nishoba, and if there's no Sulfuric Vortex on the board, it's really hard for Sly to get back from. And yeah, if you don't know how this deck works, you play a bunch of mana dorks, you snowball, get an anger on the graveyard, everything has aced, you're pre-save aced, you generate a ton of mana, you put a bunch of squirrels into play, and you swing for 1,000,000. It's a really hard deck to play, but like I said, Thiago likes to play survival decks, and he has a ton of experience playing so. Now, Brawl likes to burn people to a crisp. He's our local red mage. He likes to play Sly, Burn, whatever you want to call it. You know, he just likes to deal Lightning Bolt and Fire Blast to the face. And yeah, he's a brewer. He likes to play his own stuff. I would call this a burn instead of a slice. You get 4, 12, 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. So there's 17 creatures, 4 Fire Blast, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Incinerates, 4 Flame Rifts. So yeah, everything just goes to the face. He does also play a copy of Reckless Abandon. I imagine to sacrifice either the Jackal Pup or even, I mean, playing Ball Lightning and sacrificing it, it's 10 damage. So it's a really strong play. I like to see the single copy of Price of Progress and the single copy of Phyrexian Furnace. Personally, I would prefer a Cursed Scroll instead of the Furnace. But like I said, Brawl likes to test new stuff. And boy, look at that sideboard. Oh my god, it looks like Brawl just does not want to lose against green creatures, especially the Phantom Nishoba. He has 3 Sulfuric Springs, 1 Swamp, oh yeah, because he plays the 4 copies of Bloodstained Mire, so you can get the Swamp with the fetch, and 3 copies of Perish and 2 copies of Innocent Blood. You know, like I said, people know what they're gonna play on these tournaments, so I imagine he knew that a bunch of reanimates would be there. So he said, you know what, I'm not gonna lose to them, and I'm gonna have this really cool sideboard. You gotta give it to Brawl, man. The guy is a mad scientist, but sometimes it works. Let's see if it works right now. So Brawl, I think he keeps a hand of 7. He seemed like he has 2 Incinerates, a Fire Blast, I think that's a Lavamancer, and 3 lands. 2 of them are fetch lands. Now Thiago doesn't seem like that he likes his hand. Goes for a new one. Hopefully he keeps this one, because you know it'll be more entertaining for the audience. Seems like he has a Natural Order, Symbiotes, an Elf, and yeah, he bottoms a Squee. I think that's a survival as well, or maybe a Vigilante. Hard to tell. And yes, so Brawl is on the play, which is what the Sly deck wants to do, or the Burn deck wants to do. And here's a Lavamancer. He already has 1 fetch land in the graveyard, and I think he has another one in hand, so that's a free Lavamancer activation. And Thiago just goes for the turn 1 Elf. I imagine that Elf is not gonna survive until Thiago untaps. You do want to kill the Elf against an Elf deck. I mean, there's a motto that says bolt the bird, kill the Elf, because you know, if Thiago untaps with an Elf on the board, he can go for a survival and still have 1 mana to activate it, which is a really strong play. And yeah, Brawl plays another Lavamancer, and Thiago just goes for an Elf and a Symbiote. Now, this Symbiote is one of the trick cards of Elves, this Inquisition Ranger. It's used to generate so much value. Especially if you have the anger on the graveyard and everything has aced. Now, Subral does have a couple of options here. You can just ignore Thiago's board and just deal all the damage to the face, or you can try to gradually deal with the board because he does have Lavamancers in play, and these are free damage. Thiago chose a hand of Natural Order, Survival, and Nantuko Vigilante. So not the strongest board, but if he does draw lands, he can go for a Natural Order. If that Elf survives, which I imagine it's not gonna. And yeah, here's the Incinerate. I imagine he's gonna kill the Elf now. Because I know Sobral knows Thiago's decks. He knows if he untaps and plays a Natural Order, a Nishoba is going to be on board, and that's really hard for the slide deck to deal with. Yeah, Thiago just goes for another Elf, so he seems to be stuck on 2 lands. And there's the Seal of Fire. He's contemplating. Yeah, he just kills the Elf immediately. And just hits for 1. I imagine that the because we do know that he has an Incinerate and a Fire Blast in hand. So he's probably gonna Fire Blast end of turn. And just, yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry, Incinerate end of turn, yes, and deal 2 more with the Lavamancer, put him at 13. Next turn, he can actually deal 6 damage with Fire Blast and Lavamancer activation. I mean, these Lavamancers, they do so much work. And here's another one. I mean, yeah, they're kind of weak on multiples. Because you don't have that much cards in graveyard, but they're still, you know, they can still attack. And hits for 1. Yeah, so I imagine he's gonna Fire Blast end of turn. Put his opponent on 6, and Thiago just, yeah, he discards a Vigilante to Survival, get a Squee. And he does need some defense here, so I imagine he's gonna go for a wall, maybe, to try to stall the board. And here it is, Wall of Roots. But yeah, we do know that Sorrel has a Fire Blast in hand. And I think he's gonna untap. Easy. Now he's contemplating on doing the Fire Blast end of turn. And I think he's going for it. Yeah, he just Fire Blasts. And he has 2 floating, I think. He forgets he has 2 floating. it doesn't really matter. I mean, Sobral has no more cards in hand, but he did add 2 mana floating from the Fire Blast. And he has, yeah, the wall blocks one of them, takes 2. He's at 4. Has 1 card in hand, so any point of burn ends the game. Thiago is just struggling here. He gets the Squee back, and you know, he's trying to mount that defense. You know, plays a Basking Boot Wallow, which works really well in this deck. It's a free 1/1. Goes for a Vigilante. I wonder why is he going for a Vigilante? Is he afraid of Curse Scroll or maybe the Sulfuric Vortex? And yeah, this is game. So yeah, Brawl draws 2 points of damage and just uses Lavamancer to finish the game. Now, Thiago doesn't seem to have that much to add on the sideboard. He has 2 copies of Wall of Blossoms. Maybe take out 2 Acolytes. Yeah, besides that, not really that much that he can add. I mean, the Sharpshooter just dies to anything. I can see an argument to bringing in Color of the Claw, but I don't think this is the matchup for it. Now, for Subral, this is the dance. This is why he made the sideboard like you're seeing right now. I imagine he's gonna swap 4 lands for 4 lands, and he's gonna bring in 3 Perish for, I would imagine, the Price of Progress, the Furnace, and maybe the Reckless Abaddon. Those are the weakest cards, looking at his 60. So, yeah. So, Thiago goes for a mulligan. Subral seems that he keeps the hand. He has a Jackal Pup, I think it's a Lightning Bolts, and a few lands. And I don't see any lands from Thiago, so yeah, naturally there's a second mulligan, so he's already going to 5 on the play. Let's see if this is going to be a fast one. Hopefully not. And yeah, this is a much better hand. I see lands, and I see a Wall of Blossoms, a Root Wallet, so yeah, I mean, he does have a much better hand, even though he's on a multi-5. And here's a Curing Ranger. Now Subral has a choice here. He can kill the Curing Ranger, or he can play a Jackal Pup. Now we do know that Thiago has a Wall of Blossoms in hand, and here he just decides to deal with the Ranger. Maybe that's a little bit aggressive. But we, 2020 hindsight, we do know that Thiago has the wall. So even if he did deploy that Jackal Pup, Thiago would have still played the wall to block. And here's a Symbiote and a Root Wallet. So now Thiago can trade with the Jackal Pup if Subral attacks, which I imagine he won't. Now that Incinerate to the Root Wallet may be a little bit aggressive, especially because it's not doing anything right now, and I wouldn't imagine that Subral wants to protect his life total. And he's drawing so many lands. And here's a Flame Rift. Yeah, especially if he did have the Flame Rift in hand, I would probably consider throwing that Incinerate to the face instead of to the Root Wallet. And Thiago, is he going for a Natural Order? 4 mana, I imagine it is. He does. I think he's sacrificing. Yes, he's sacrificing the Symbiote. So now Subral doesn't really have that many outs. I mean, he did bring in the sideboard, and he also has 1 copy of Anarchy, which is also deals with the Nishoba. Here's the Fanatic. Now we do remind you that the Nishoba has Trample, so even if Subral blocks and sacrifices the Mog Fanatic, the trample damage still triggers, and Thiago still gains life, which is a huge deal. Let's see if he's probably going to connect. The only option would be if Subral wants to maybe sacrifice the pup to make the Nishoba 6/6. But if he yeah, there's the Anarchy. And I imagine that Fanatic is probably gonna shoot up the Elf, because he can't attack here because of the Wall of Blossoms, and yes, it does. I mean, even with a multi-5, Thiago is pretty much on the driver's seat. He's at 23 life, against 3 cards in hand from Sly. He has the... Yeah, and now he's swinging to the elf. I mean, yeah, it can attack. Here's another Fanatic. Just deals with the elf straight away. And here's another elf. Here's another Fanatic. I insist. And here's the Tormod script. So, yeah, Thiago did bring in the Tormod scripts. I mean, it does deal with the cards for Lavamancer, which is somewhat relevant in this matchup. And here's a Tormod script from Subrald as well. I imagine what he did take out. And here's the Bloodstained Mire. Swings in with the elf. He's just gonna block, you know. Still takes 1, but it took care of that elf. And here's a Kieran Ranger. I mean, Sural is he's at 6 life, and here's by the way, here's the swamp from the Bloodstained Mire. So we do know that Subral obviously brought in the parish. Here's another wall. And swings in for 1, putting Subral at 5. And here's a Symbiote. Yeah, this is... Blaze... What is that? I think it's a mountain. Here's a Flame Rift, and he just kills himself. Like a true gentleman, performing Harakiri. Both players seem to keep a hand of 7. Subral starts things off with a Sulphurous Spring into a Mock Fanatic. So he does have access to the black mana for those Parish. With the Mock Fanatic, he does have an answer to any turn 1 Elves that Thiago played, but it doesn't seem he played one. He played the Tormods and just shipped a turn. The Fanatic gets in. And there's a Lavamancer. Subral doesn't seem to have the second land. But the Sly deck can really... can play with just 1 land for a few turns. Because he has so many turn 1 plays. Here's a Survival from Thiago. Which means that if he does have another land, he can start getting maybe those walls to start blocking. Here's the Seal of Fire. And Subral doesn't seem to have the second land. So this is, I mean, like I said, you can get away with keeping just 1 hand, though I think it's sketchy. It depends on the strength of the hand and the matchup. But, you know, after a few turns, you're gonna just get so far behind. And Thiago just, you know, starts getting the wall. And he gets the wall of roots, which is very important because he can block and still activate for the survival to maybe get another wall. And yeah, Thiago just blocks the Lavamancer. It's gonna take 1 from the Fanatic. And here's another Fanatic. So Thiago here, I imagine that if he has another creature in hand, he's gonna just get another wall, I think. Oh, both players just making sure what was blocked. I advise you all, when you're in a tournament, please be clear of what cards are you blocking, damage. Don't jump any combat phases because it can get very confusing at times. And yes, Thiago did win for another wall of roots. And 5 mana. Oh, it's an hermit. Now, Subral has the Mog Fanatic to take care of the hermits and make all those squirrels just 1/1s. But yeah, they're still the squirrels are still in play. So yeah, Tiago does not pay for the echo, and Subral is still at 1 land. So I imagine, unless he goes for land earthquake. We did zoom out because the board was getting really clogged. Now, 4 mana natural. Oh my, yeah, this one's gonna be tough. I imagine he's going for that Nishoba. Now, Sobral does have a way to make that Nishoba a 4/4, maybe a 3/3. He can throw the both Fanatics and the Seal of Fire, and then activate the Lavamancer, but yeah, it's still tough. Like I said, just 1 mana. I imagine that this is gonna be game. So yeah, Sobral just is just going through the motions. I mean, there's an argument for blocking with the Fanatics, but yeah, he knows that this is gonna be a hard one to get back from, and it doesn't seem that he was drawing a land for another turn, but sometimes that's magic. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for round 4.